Good evening, beautiful people, and happy Friday. Hey, today I've been thinking about something, and that thing is decompression walks. Now, if you're not familiar with what a decompression walk is, basically it's something where we take the dog out to a place where they're unlikely to see any of their triggers that made them kick off, and we just let them sniff around and just be a dog and chill out and just do dog things without any stress, right? So, great. Exactly what we should be doing for reactive, aggressive, various other problem behaviour dogs, right? They definitely need an opportunity to shake shit off and go and just have a sniff and be a dog, right? Great, awesome. Now, what I've kind of been thinking about, right, is that a lot of the time decompression walks are marketed as something, well, marketed, they're not for sale, right? They're free. You can go and do them for free. They are pitched as something that you should just do after the dog has had like a big stressful blow up or has been through a traumatic event or has had one of their blow ups or whatever, right? Great, definitely do that right after those tough things, right? Definitely focus on that. Awesome. But if we are actively trying to change a dog's behavior, right, we are trying to help a dog through reactivity or aggression or what have you, right? We need to stop them practicing the behaviours we don't like, right? So lunging, barking, general aggression that we're kind of looking at, right? We need to not allow them to practice that stuff, because the more dogs practice that stuff, the better they get at it, the more of a habit it is, the harder it is to break, right? So the idea is, if we're not letting them practice it, they're not getting better at it, every walk should be a decompression walk, unless we are training, right? And when we are training, we have to be prepared for every situation, right? So if I'm trying to train around like a reactive dog around other dogs, I'm going to do all decompression walks. I'm going to try and avoid my triggers as much as possible when I'm out and about and just doing, getting my dog exercise and letting them get their beans out for the day. And when I'm ready to train, I'm going to go out prepared. I'm going to have all the right gear on the dog, long line, the right collars, if you're using a harness, whatever. You're going to have the food, you're going to have your toys, you're going to be ready to go. The dog is going to be in go mode and learning mode, right? So when you go and find the triggers that you're wanting to train around, you also need to be aware that you want to be in a space where you can have better control of the distance away from these triggers, obviously, right? That's your training session, right? And whether that's through coming to like a dog training class or what have you, right? Or teeing up with your dog trainer to bring their dog around, or use a friend's dog, right? These are all things that are going to help you and your dog succeed, right? If in the meantime, while we're working on it, we can insulate them from practicing a lot of that stuff, right? And if they're a fearful dog, right, reduce their need to flex that little fear bit of their brain, right, and make that more of a response that they are used to turning to. So yeah, every walk, if we're working on this kind of stuff, every walk should be a decompression walk. Doesn't matter how you do that, right? That could just be walking up and down the street at like 9 o'clock at night in the dark, letting your dog have a sniff around and being really close to home. And then when you see somebody coming down the street, if your dog hates people in the dark, just nip back up your driveway. Boom. We don't have to deal with a stressful situation. All is well. Now, obviously, shit happens in the real world, right? Those stressful situations happen because somebody pops up. The courier comes speeding up your driveway, and right as you're about to take your dog out, and there's a shit moment right at your front door, right? Shit happens, right, in the world. But if we can do our best to minimise those experiences for the dog when we're trying to help them through that stuff, we're going to have a lot more success, right? Stop taking your dog for street walks when you know that they're dog reactive until you're ready to work through it. On the street is really not a place to practice your drills for dog reactivity, right? It's just, you can't control the distance away from your trigger. You can do your best, and sometimes you can make it work depending on the area that you live and stuff like that, but sometimes it's just not a good idea, right? You've got to be smart about this stuff. You've got to be smart about it, and think about the dog. If the dog's kicking off in those scenarios, they don't want to be there either. Why are we taking our dogs for street walks if they spend the whole time stressed the fuck out? Let's just take a step back and go, hey, why don't we just do something the dog actually likes? Play with a bit of food in the driveway. Go and play tug in your backyard, right? And then when we're ready to, we've had a bit of time off all the stress, we go out and just do a little bit. We get a little bit close to a dog in the street. We get a little bit close to the outside of a dog park, and we train, and then when we've had the exact response that we want, we go away, we leave. We go, yes, we won. And we go away and we leave. That's what we want. That's exactly what we want. Anyway, that's just my thoughts for the day, and maybe it's a good way to kind of pitch it to people to kind of make them think about that kind of stuff when you're working with that kind of, we're trying to modify behaviour. Decompression walks are a really nice thing to do, so why not do them every day? Have a good one, people. Peace.